country, bare upland that rises above the surrounding Somerset plains. Around these hills, communities have grown up where fresh water flows out of the limestone slopes. The streams flowing off the top of the hills have, through the ages, formed a course through the rock, creating caves and potholes, honeycombing the Mendips. A whole new world that only gives up its secrets slowly to those men and women who call themselves cavers. We're fortunate that in these hills we have a ready-made adventure ground for the modern explorer. Caving is potentially very dangerous, but in practice it can be surprisingly safe if sensible precautions are taken. Most cave rescues have been because of foolhardiness or inexperience, descending a cave liable flooding in unsettled weather, or going down without the right equipment. Our cavers are literally dropping into their cave. Sheer drops like this one involve the use of lightweight metal ladders. The descent down is taken slowly and carefully. Climbing ladders requires a specialized technique. The rungs are just wide enough for one boot at a time, and the hands take a grip from behind to ensure that the ladder passes straight down as close to the body as possible. Vertical drops may be complicated by the ladder hanging against the rock or even climbing directly in a chilling waterfall. At the bottom of the ladder, the isolation begins to be felt. The only noise is the occasional drip of water. Our world of the helmet lights. It's a world of breathtaking beauty and an endless maze of twisting passages, gleaming walls and fantastic decorative formations. Take care too when moving off to preserve and protect the cave formations around you. A careless move or a muddy hand could destroy the beauty of something that has taken thousands of years to grow. These broken stall stalactites were found in a partly vandalized grotto and are an example of damage that can so easily occur. The path lies ahead. Sometimes it will be barely wide enough for a human body to wriggle through, and sometimes blocked by rocks or water. Then unexpectedly opening up into larger caves from which new networks extend. You may find yourself walking on all fours or crawling as you lie flat or on your side. Narrow chimneys or rock faces close together can sometimes be climbed by straddling the opposite walls and pulling yourself up by handholds. There are over 200 kinds of animal life which inhabit our caves. Bats are the best known, but even the rock pools are not deserted. Many contain tiny blind white shrimps and other creatures. In narrow chimneys, the back may be wedged against one wall and the feet against the other, so that the body is gradually edged upwards. Hands and feet, elbows and knees, they all help you on your way underground. Cave temperatures average about 8 to 9 degrees centigrade, so clothing must be warm and comfortable for the type of trip expected. Progress is often painfully slow. A cave only a few hundred yards long seems to go forever into the hill. It is a world apart. Even a small widening of the passage takes on the proportions of a large chamber in the dim light of the helmet lamps. At present, there are over 20 miles of cave passage known under the Mendips. They vary from a few feet in length to nearly 5 miles. Intriguingly, perhaps as little as 10% of the cave passages negotiable by man have so far been discovered. Each year sees thousands of feet of new cave passages revealed as blocks of mud and boulders are patiently dug away by small bands of cavers. Digging in the mud and in confined spaces requires a special sort of dedication. Buckets weigh heavy, tip the spoil in the narrow passages. But the rewards are great if you're one of the lucky ones and manage to break into a new system. Exploring new systems can be really tough work. Inevitably, cavers are sometimes faced with the narrowest of gaps through which the body can only just fit. It's known as a squeeze, and it may be complicated by sloping up or down and twisting in different directions. The body is surprisingly flexible, and if you get stuck, don't panic. Relax, and then a gentle pull or push should do the trick. Whatever the difficulties, it's all really worth it when you find yourself in a glistening cavern full of beauty. These beautiful underground chambers were formed by water percolating through the limestone rock and dissolving it, leaving passages for streams to widen or deepen. As the water percolates through fissures in the rock, it picks up minerals and then deposits them. A thin deposit of lime remains on the cave roof or wall, or drops to the floor as a ring of crystallized calcite. The crystals gradually grow into a thin tubular formation. When the tube hangs from the roof, it's known as a stalactite. Crystals that grow upwards from the floor are known as stalagmites. Both take thousands of years to grow. Their colouring comes from the minerals they contain, like iron and copper. There's so much to see underground. The scenery is continually changing. Time can pass very quickly, sometimes unnoticed. While you're exploring, others may be worrying for your safety. It's essential that written word be left on the surface with the landowner as to which caves are to be visited and the estimated time of return. If trouble strikes, a rescue party can reach the scene with the minimum of delay. Time for a break and a cigarette before moving off again. Remember to pick up the wrappings and other rubbish and take it with you. There shouldn't be any dustbins underground. Remember, too, a supply of emergency food and lighting in case the party's delayed. There's plenty of opportunity of using up energy at the best of times. Remember, it often requires more energy to climb back out of a cave, a time when unexpected dangers can appear. Occasionally, as in any sport, mishaps do occur. Boulders can slip, streams may become swollen with heavy rain, or a foothold can be missed on the damp rock. So take care at all times. Conditions and scenery change quickly in some caves. We've come from a dry part of the system to a wet one, where the river which formed the cave network is still visible. Straight away, there are new problems to be dealt with and new equipment required. A boiler suit will provide reasonable protection in all but the wettest caves, where a neoprene wetsuit or exposure suit is essential. There's always the danger of exposure through the cold and wet. The suit will retain body heat and give protection. It's useful too when the caver has to turn swimmer. The water is about 4 or 5 degrees centigrade. The dinghy is suddenly needed. Men and materials have got to be ferried across to the other side. The apparent stillness of the underground lake hides deceptively powerful undercurrents, necessitating the use of hauling ropes from both banks. This lake, fed from the many streams which have wormed their way underground from the summit of the hills, holds many secrets yet to be revealed. Upstream, there's a certainty of further passages and chambers yet to be discovered. Negotiating drops and crossing rivers involves teamwork. Lifelines, pulling ropes, ladders and other tackle all have to be used by the party. It's the fellowship of working together, sometimes in adverse conditions while pitting one's wits against the hidden quirks of nature, that makes caving what it is. Daylight ahead and the end of our exploration. The world of caves is open. The fairyland of grottos and pools still waits to be explored in a pastime which requires both courage and skill. If you do get bitten by the bug and can't resist delving into the mysteries of these dark holes in the ground, one final word of advice: join a recognized club. This way you can visit caves safely in the company of other people who are interested in going underground.